The views and opinions of this video and comments on this channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of this channel's broadcaster. If you have a complaint about something or find that content is being used incorrectly, don't fucking contact us.
Don't fucking contact us. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, damn.
Just shut the fuck up. This is Balaclava Diaries. We're toxic, we're talking aggressive. If you don't like it, send a message. We're weed stimulated, educated, top rated, and never baited. I am the OG MacG, and to the left of me is the great Mr. Let's Party. But today, we have a little mix-up thing, you know what I'm saying? Repping for the Filipino nation.
Bang, bang, bang,
the
bang.
man's been all over the world in terms of, stand-up, doing different festivals, South by Southwest. This guy, I think he personally knows Kevin Hart. But to put it in a nutshell, he's a consummate entertainer. He reps his city as best he can. He puts on comedy shows. He does comedy shows. I remember the first time I seen him, it was at this weed show, and I couldn't see the stage, but the jokes were making me roll in my chair. You know what I'm saying? Everybody give it up for Norm. Big Norm. Yeah. Okay.
What up? It's for all
How
the
you
dogs,
doing, though, man? Look at this guy.
Right here,
This
playing
guy
with
got
this
the
dog
dog on the
man.
show
You
and
got
shit.
a
Hey,
pet.
hey man, chill out. You might be my
You
food
know,
soon.
Balaclava Diary gives out free pets. You know what I mean? You get a free pet.
So in the book The Alchemist, it's a book about, one finding their destiny in their lives through their life's journey.
Right.
Would you say comedy was your life's journey and destiny?
I never saw it coming. I'll say that for sure.
Right.
Pause. No diddy. I really did not see this in my sights. It wasn't in my trajectory. I grew up in the Seventh-day Adventist church. I thought I was supposed to be a pastor.
What?
Yeah,
Hold on,
What do you
wait.
mean?
Yeah,
Like you're trying to be out here collared up. That guy, no crutches at nighttime.
Well, just know, I grew up in Scarborough, so naturally, growing up in Scarborough and Toronto community housing, you get into some shit, and then from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, you're in the church trying to make sure mama's happy and you're doing right by her, and the family that expects you to be, a good God-fearing Filipino youth, and once again, one foot in the streets, one foot in the church.
Wow.
So,
Okay, so, being from the Filipino community, you got to big up the church, yo. What
Yes.
church was that, yo?
well, it was a Scarborough Filipino Seventh-day Adventist church. I didn't grow up Catholic like the rest of my other Filipino counterparts. I was a very unorthodox Filipino. Seventh-day Adventist, didn't own a rice cooker. Just for the longest time, we was cooking rice on the stove or the microwave. I'm like, Mom, what kind of, there's no statue of Mother Mary. There's no picture of the Last Supper. None of that. It was just a random Filipino kid in Scarborough, Toronto community housing. I was always the only Filipino dude amongst my peers. But yeah, it was a very religious upbringing. However, because I was living in a single home or a single parent home, she wasn't really around to watch me get into the dirt that I was getting into.
Okay.
And not to blame my surroundings or whoever, like, I'll be straight up honest. I was such a fan of hip hop and rap music. And when you hear certain things being spoken about, you get intrigued by it. You're like,
So,
ooh,
yo,
let me try out one too. You know what I mean? Like,
So which track was inspiring you? What was your inspirational track?
bro, just know that I was a Wu-Tang head, right?
Okay.
Okay, so that's the depths of the
You
dirt
know,
when you
yeah.
think about
I'm a
it. That's-
Wu-Tang guy, Ghostface Killer,
Killer,
Raekwon.
okay, yeah.
Some
Smoking
slick shit.
PCPs.
I love no smoking no angel dust. None of that. My eyes weren't bleeding from the angel dust. No, I was into Nas, a lot of Queensbridge rappers,
But
Mobb Deep.
it was still like conscious rap. It
Yeah.
wasn't
It
this-
was mathematics, son.
Yeah.
Do the knowledge, yo. Drop a science, son. Word to God,
Do you know your
body.
mathematics?
No, I'm an Asian, but my math is not mathin', bro.
Okay, so being a Christian and growing up in that Christian household, what was it like the first time your mom heard you cuss or say something nasty on stage?
Well, that's the thing. Like when my mom would come to my comedy shows, I would make sure to do the clean sets, right?
Okay.
But like,
smart.
yo, mind you, when growing, I had a scholarship, or I was offered a scholarship for theology,
Theology, wow.
Yeah, so I was actually
You're a guy,
pursuing
you're a
to
guy,
be
you're a guy.
a Seventh-day Adventist pastor because everybody in the church was like, "Oh, he's so funny, he's so captivating. When he's on stage, he always gets everybody's attention." So they're like, maybe you could be the next, big youth pastor, on the scene. You know what? We're gonna foster your abilities and make sure you get on the right path. So
So
they're
you
like,
were like the Allen Iverson of preaching, basically.
ooh, you know what? Because I didn't
that's
really
what I'm saying,
practice what I preach. It was practice.
But he
It was
didn't practice it either,
practice.
right?
I mean,
So
that's what I'm
practicing.
saying.
You
I
wasn't
wasn't fully practicing. So I guess I could take, but I was naturally gifted,
You're out here, since you're out here, you're
you know what I'm
out
saying? I was this choir boy, like lead singer,
Say word.
all that. Like, so, my killer crossover was my crazy, Cisco, Casey and JoJo ad-lib
Okay,
riffs,
so
you know what
yo,
I'm saying?
speaking about that, we definitely heard that you had a little singing career.
Yes.
You know
yes.
what I mean? You're that guy. You were out here. Did you have a soul can? Like, were you taking it that serious?
You know what's so funny? My buddy's like, yo, do you have SoCan? Because I did some music for the soundtrack, and I was like, I don't know, let me go. I don't know if I do or not, but I went to register, and they're like, you've had it since 2012. So I was like, oh, see.
So you were serious? Like you were a guy? Like you were in the recording studio? You were actually being an artist?
Well, so I've always been in the music scene. I used to roll with a dude named Richie Sosa back in the day.
Oh, Richie Sosa.
Richie
Okay,
Sosa
okay,
was,
okay.
we were a little rap group back in the day, and what's up, little guy? So I was always in music. Rapping obviously wasn't the best thing for a guy like me because I was of the era where you had to keep it real with your raps.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
you can't just be out here on TikTok
if you-
dancing with the gun.
Yeah,
You have to use
if
it.
you're talking some shit, you better be living that shit,
yeah.
right? Or if you're talking some shit, you better be talking some shit that you actually live. All right, you want to get out of here, puppy? Go do your thing. Boom. Yeah. So I'd be rapping shit that like I lived. So I'd be like, I squeeze boobs and breasts like tubes of Crest. Because I've squeezed a titty before, But like, who really squeezes titties like a tube of toothpaste? Like, ooh, let me roll that titty up.
Okay, so
being
an R&B man, and this is not racist, but what are the top 3 R&B songs in the Filipino community, in your opinion?
R&B songs
In the Filipino
Filipino
community, though, you know what I mean?
community.
Like, I feel like Casey and JoJo.
I would throw a Boys to Men song in there just because they love Boys to Men.
Okay.
So, but I don't like All My Life by Casey and JoJo.
Right.
But I feel like that's a song Filipinos would love to sing. Like they sing it at all the
karaoke
weddings.
and
and
All
shit.
the weddings? Okay.
They love a good duet. So like My Endless Love.
Okay.
Diana Ross,
Okay.
Luther Vandross, Mariah Carey, those versions. I'm trying to use like the most updated stuff. Like they love her. And Daniel Caesar's
Isn't she,
best
is she not Filipino?
because she's half
Yeah,
Filipino,
exactly.
right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I mean, you see that jump shot? That's a Filipino jump
I see
shot.
that, I
If
see
I've
that.
ever seen one, bro.
I seen it. It didn't look too nice. The knees bending to the middle of the
Well,
jump shot.
hey, it don't look pretty, but it goes in. It's
Like
wet,
she
bro.
had the chanillas on herself,
Dog, she could hit NBA threes, bro. She's nice. She's nice like that. Shout outs to
24
her.
footers and shit.
That's one person like, if ever I get the chance to work with an artist, her is one of those people. Her, Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak.
Right.
Yeah, like music. Honestly, music. Filipinos love a good love ballad, R&B. Man, the most randomest Filipino dude in a wife beater, like a marina with missing teeth and like bedhead, will be sitting down just drinking a a Red Horse beer, you know, and be like, okay, guys, I'm going to sing a song for you now, you know,
Okay, so
and then
you know
out
we're
of
gonna-
nowhere just start belting Whitney Houston like it's nothing, and then
So,
come
you
right back
can't-
to it like,
you
oh, okay,
can't give
thank
a
you.
sample to the fans?
I mean, I'm not really one to sing in front of the camera. No, I'm just fucking. And you know, and you know, and you know. I fuck around with a little bit. No, I specifically smoked weed for like 10 years straight just so I could make my voice more raspier.
Because you
I wanted to
that,
sound like KC.
sound. Yeah,
I wanted to
yeah.
sound like I was in Jodeci, bro. I wanted to sound like Bobby Womack after he just cheated on his wife. You know what I'm saying?
So Norm, man,
Yeah.
just kind of going over your childhood still. You've been all over this city,
Yep.
east, west, downtown. Which side do you rep?
I'm a Scarborough youth, 100%. Like
Okay.
born in,
East Side guy.
I was born and raised East Side Ting from Time, Markham, Eglinton, K Block,
Mad.
Kingston Road. What's up? But then my father lived in the West End by Bathurst and Finch, so I was constantly in Bathurst and Finch, around that area, around all the Filipinos and the Jews, and the ruthless Russians.
Nice.
I actually, when I got kicked out of that private Seventh-day Adventist school that I had to go to get that scholarship.
Yeah.
I ended up going back I went to live with my father and graduated from a school on Bathurst and Finch called Northview Heights.
Northview?
Yeah.
Jeez,
I was a Northview Heights kid. But before
So
that, I was
bad beats that go to
Scarborough.
Northview still.
Oh, buddy, that was.
Here at Bad Beach over there.
I went to that. I mean, every school I went to, there was bad breeds, obviously, but like, yeah, particularly that school. When I got there, I was like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna keep my head down, just get this last few credits and graduate. But
Yeah,
yeah,
over here is mud.
there's some bad breeds for sure.
For sure. Super bad breeds.
But yeah, I'm an East End guy, but now I'm in Parkdale. So I've been living in Parkdale for the past almost 20 years.
Okay.
So
That's kind
I'm
of
like-
a West End thing, though. Like West End of
West
Toronto.
End, Toronto, downtown. You know,
Yeah.
like Parkdale is a place in itself. In the same way Scarborough is its own place.
Right.
Within Toronto, Parkdale is another community that's like no other. So
No, for sure.
and I love Parkdale to death. Cheap rent. Like I got real lucky, man.
Shout
Like
out to cheap rent.
I got
Some baddies in
grandfathered
Parkdale, too.
rent rates. You know, from 15.
Grandfathered rent rates.
You're a
Yeah.
guy. You're a guy over
Bro.
there. You're the party.
Just know I'm paying Montreal prices in Toronto.
That is hilarious,
Yeah,
yo.
shout outs to Montreal and
Okay,
Quebec's
so
cheap rent.
let's just jump into some topics. Like, you know, we want to learn about you, but we want to learn through, you know, vicarious ways.
Okay.
Would you ever want to become Diddy famous?
You know what? No, I don't want to be famous in the way Diddy's famous right now.
Like not at this moment.
At this current juncture in his
Yeah.
life, at this crossroads, at this. Yeah, you know, I thought you know what's so crazy? Bad Boy just sounds so different now that you say it. Like, when I hey, Bad Boy, like, nah, dog, like that don't sound right no more. Even when he's like, I thought I told you that we won't stop. Like,
Stop
no,
what?
stop
Stop
this,
what?
bro.
Like, what the fuck you
Stop
talking about?
everything that you're doing right now, please.
No, but I'm more talking to just, you know, that billionaire status where it's like people are trying to tear you down now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? We've seen it happen to, you know, multiple people of color, you know what I mean? Would you ever want to get to that point where, say, you own a studio or, you know what I mean, you're bringing in different acts and artists and signing them and so on and so forth? Is that something you want to see happen in your career?
Like, I don't think I want to be in the rooms where you're now being forced into things that'll possibly be used against you in blackmail. Like, I don't want to reach that level of Hollywood where, like, oh shit, I gotta avoid that room, or I gotta, like, you know, I love the way
You mean like
50
the
Cent.
bodybuilder room? The bodybuilder
Well,
room with the bodybuilders oiled up? That
They
one?
speak about those rooms, you know what I'm saying? That you're like, whoa, this is not the one I want to be in. Maybe let me just go back to the weed room over here, you know? But those eyes wide shut parties with Nicole Kidman and
Yeah,
Tom Cruise,
crazy,
like, you know, I don't want to go that deep. You know,
Right,
50 Cent is probably the peak of my success that I would want, where like you could still be in Hollywood and not have to be in those fucked up situations and still be on the other side saying y'all are fucked up. Like you see him like punking Diddy forever.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. No,
punking, calling out all the
youths.
people that are doing the fucked up Hollywood shit. Like those are the guys that I'm like, nah, I'd rather stay in that boat than be with the elite and have everything in the world. But at any point in time when they want, they can just take it from you and say, you know what?
Switch it up on you.
Sorry, brother love. That's up. That's up. Ain't no more love for you. You know?
Definitely no more love for Diddy.
But you know what's crazy?
Sorry,
Like,
bro.
do you... I started looking at like photos of Diddy and the people he was with. And then I look at the pictures of him and Barack Obama. And I'm not no conspiracy theorist,
they've
but
been
you hear
talking
those,
about that,
you know,
yo.
those conspiracy theories of Barack Obama being, you know,
A funny
They said
guy.
Michelle was a
Funny guy.
man before.
you know, they're
Michelle's a
saying
man.
she's a man, that
They're
he's, you
saying
know,
the youths aren't. There's like, yo, there's a lot of stuff over
right?
there.
So let's just say, there's some truth to those
Things.
allegations. That makes Puff's vote or die campaign even like
More crazier.
super sus, because you haven't done anything in the voting world or in political world since. So here you are with Barack and Michelle or Michael or whatever you want to call him. Michelle is just Michael in French.
You're ruthless.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but it posed the question like, ooh, Diddy, huh?
But yo, speaking
Vote or
about that, going back to the whole conspiracy and all that stuff, like, did you hear about the Baltimore ship crash?
No.
You didn't hear about that. So I think
You've
it was
never
about-
seen
wait.
the
Oh,
bridge,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
it
the
hit
bridge,
and it
bridge.
blew up.
Yeah.
So who do you think was behind that?
Nelly, I don't know who.
Nelly? It might be the government. Could be P. Diddy.
Do you
I mean-
okay, so like
I mean, fine. They need as many distractions as possible, but like, I'm like, what is the Diddy distraction? What is Diddy distracting us from?
I feel like it's.
I'm
a
like,
shit.
if there's all these other things happening, and Diddy is getting all the headlines, it makes me wonder what's
because
being
Baltimore is
hidden
one
right
of the
now.
main ports in America for transport.
Yeah, so
right?
that's gonna
So
just
if you
mash up
cut
the
off
economy.
that bridge, you're cutting off a main access highway that takes you from Delaware to the to the tri-state
Little
area.
pee-pee dog
You know
over
what I'm
here.
saying? Don't piss
Sorry.
over here, dog. So it's just interesting to hear what people think about it. You know what I mean? So something that we also wanted to touch on is Brampton just became the second largest city in Ontario.
Population-wise,
Yeah.
Population-wise, obviously. Well, actually, in square footage too, right? So it's just like, how do you feel about that? You think Brampton's taking over?
listen, man. While everybody was talking about Brampton catching all these L's and just always dissing Brampton, I'm like, this sounds familiar. This sounds like Scarborough hate.
Wow.
When people hated on Scarborough being out in the east, being all far. But when you think about it, all the immigrants that end up in Brampton, and when you look at all the talent that has been coming out of Brampton,
Oh yeah.
You know?
it's very similar and
Big up Peel
parallel to
region.
Scarborough.
Back in the
Big up
day,
the Back in the
had
day, what
Jamal
Scarborough
McGlure, now
was,
they have
Big up the
Barrett,
905.
you know what I mean? It's,
Big up the
it's a shit.
905.
I call Brampton Scarborough West.
Okay.
You know, and
Interesting
as
take.
much as people are just like, nah, Brampton, boo, Brampton, but nah, man. You can't deny the artistry that comes out of that city, and it comes from a place that like where it's not a desirable destination spot. Scarborough was never a destination spot until Scarborough Spots came out and started shining light on all the spots in Scarborough. But I feel Brampton is due for its shine. Like they got really, really good food. Okay,
Really
and
good food
they got really.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm
they
gonna
have-
tell you, as a real PO region dog, that's not true.
Okay, this is what
That's
I'm
not true.
When I say good food, the food that I had specifically was Indian food.
See that?
See, I
Okay.
can't do
Them
that. My
shit.
belly will bust up. I can't
Yeah,
do
I
the
can't do
Indian
that.
thing still. I
See,
can't.
and this is coming from a chef, a guy that went to
true.
school for cooking.
Okay,
That's what-
culinary
something
dog.
I
There we
did,
go. See, the Red Seal? You're a Michelin chef?
No, I also dropped out. But I originally went to the school because I knew that everybody smokes weed. in the industry, and I'm like, ooh,
So you're trying to build up.
I'm like, this is a good
chopped
business
onions.
opportunity, you know. Mother, I'm not getting no scholarship for cooking. You know, I know I dropped the ball on the scholarship for theology, but guess what? I will find a way to fund this. I'll find a way to fund this. Yo, I remember going to theory class, and I was stinking up the spot, and the professor calls me out after. He's like, "Come here, young man." I'm like, "Yes, professor." And he's like, "Don't you dare come into my classroom smelling the way that you smell." And I was like, "Oh shit." And then he leans in, he goes, "Without giving me a little taste." And I was like, "Hey!" I'm like, "All right, bet." I gave him a twin sack, and he's like, "You gonna be in class next week?" I'm
Okay,
like,
the man's trying to make sure the connect is locked.
and I was like, "Should I be in class next week?" He's like, "If you want." I was like, "Bet." I come, I
Yo,
just
you
drop off the twin, and I
Cop
leave.
out that A+ one
Dog,
time.
I was 90 up, bro. I got 90 plus on that. You know,
That is crazy.
but I
That
fucked
is
up because the
crazy.
theory is what you really need to know the terminology of certain things. So people are like, "Yeah, we need a so and so." I'm like, "Yeah, what was that again?" I think I skipped that class.
But you got a 90 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
All right, so Party Next Door has a song called "Break from Toronto."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was a popular song for years. People out bust it now. You know what I mean?
Let that shit play. It's okay.
No Diddy, fam. No Diddy. So,
No Diddy.
do you believe that that is true? Do you need to leave Toronto in order to kind of gain that access to, you know, a better career as an entertainer?
I don't think you need to or have to, but it may benefit you way
terms
more
of
if you
what?
want to expedite your career.
Expedite in which way, though?
Yeah, like what are the
Exactly.
positives?
there-
What are the pros?
Like, I consider Toronto and Canada in general as a talent funnel.
For
And
sure,
like at
for
some
sure.
point, you're gonna get funneled down into the States where you could actually meet the potential that you actually have, you know? Because there's only so much based off of the amount of people in Canada that Canada can do for you. Like the same amount of people in California is like the same amount of people in Canada. You know what I'm saying? And that's
Yeah,
one
yeah.
state,
That's crazy.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
can just go to one state and bubble in that one state, like as a stand-up comedian, the goal is to like perform in every major city in the world at that.
Right.
So when I do my Canada tours, I'm doing Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Halifax, as 8 cities.
Right.
I could do that in California alone: San Jose, Sacramento, Los Angeles, Irvine, Oxnard, San Diego.
The man said
Sacramento.
Oxnard.
Dog, you could. Each one of these have a major
Fan
comedy
base.
club.
Yeah, okay.
So just based off one state alone, I could do a whole circuit and make the amount of money I would have made traveling all
That's
of Canada.
crazy, bro.
Now you got all the other 52 states that have 4 major cities in each state. I could literally do a weekend in every city in the states, and that'll just be 1 year of cake. And then, whereas I'll run through that in 8 cities in Canada. You know what I mean?
Right.
So just by sheer volume alone, you're gonna make more money by tapping into every city in the States. So and then the culture of spending out there is so ingrained in their everyday life. People spend money to make money, spend money, make money, spend money, make money. So you can make money out there, right? Out here, everyone's trying to save.
Just keep talking. The mic won't
Yeah.
pick it up.
It's all good.
So,
You know, I enjoy these kind of situations. I did a comedy show the other day where the fire alarm went off, and you just had to go right through it and
That's
act like
crazy.
nothing was happening and find
That's
a way to
crazy.
use it to your advantage. And you know,
Yo, speaking about like things in Canada, you know, we talked about the States, but talking about how there's like not as much major opportunities here. The circuit is smaller, as you said. How do you feel about Yuck Yucks possibly closing down?
well, listen, Just for Laughs festival is
Sorry,
already
yeah,
closed
just for that's
down.
actually what I meant to say.
Just for Laughs festival is done. There's enough there used to be way more Yuck Yucks clubs all over the country.
Right.
So like I've watched, you know, from the time I started till now, like comedy the scene get weaker and weaker and weaker. Unfortunately, because as people start becoming more and more sensitive to woke culture and just overly sensitive here in Canada, like people are almost afraid to laugh now. So it's
Afraid
like
to laugh. What do you mean by that?
like they're afraid to laugh at things because they want to make sure they don't get canceled, you know. And a lot of times, laughter is infectious. So when you laugh, everyone else is gonna laugh.
Yeah,
You know,
it
if
brings
more
up
people are laughing, everyone's gonna be like, okay, I guess it's okay to laugh. But when more people, in Canada, I feel like there's this trend where people are like looking around and be like, can I laugh at this? Is this okay? Before you actually laugh, and it's like, yo, you're ruining comedy. This is the last line of defense for freedom of speech. Like, we're the only ones that can say things, and obviously it's only for the sake of a joke. It's not for the sake of offending you or pissing people off. Naturally, that's going to happen because people
Take offense to everything.
take offense to everything.
For sure.
But like, this is the one thing that we encourage people to speak on things that are hard to speak on, but for the sake of providing levity and laughter to the situation that's normally depressing or angering, you know? Like talking about Palestine, like no one wants to talk about it.
No,
but we have
definitely
to
not.
talk about it. But when you speak about it, does it always have to be in the angry, negative tone? No,
it
at
doesn't.
some points you got to speak about it with light. You got to speak about it with levity, with laughter, with jokes, but not for the sake of diminishing their struggle or what's going on, but for the sake of just finding the beauty and the brightness within the dark situation. You know what I mean?
So do you feel like comedy has a way to like get messages across?
Hell fucking right it does. Like there's so many, like Dave Chappelle, when he was talking about all the trans issues in his stand-up special, I remember there was one point he was making fun of Chinese people or Asian people, and everyone was dying of laughter. Then he said a similar joke, but then inserted the LGBTQ trans community in for the Chinese people.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, up in arms. And it's like,
Yeah.
you was just laughing at Chinese people. Why can't you laugh at this group of people too? We should everybody should be able to get it. You know what I mean?
That's definitely
And if you
fair.
want true inclusion and inclusivity, and you want to be included
Equal
in the
rights.
mix, equal rights, guess what? If I can make fun of them, I can make fun of you too. And that's just showing the progress of where we're at.
Yeah.
So you got what you wanted. We're making fun of you too because we're trying to give you what you want, right? And I feel when people get too, I get it, man. Sometimes people like to really, really push the boundaries. And I toe the line sometimes, like in the podcast I'm on, An Extra Gravy, everyone always says, oh, you're the one that's going to get us canceled, Norm. You say the most outlandish shit. But it's like, nah, it's obviously all in fun and jokes, like fun and games. Like it's not meant to offend. And if you take offense to it, like, don't get mad at me that you don't like the food, you know?
You came to the restaurant.
You came to the restaurant, you just don't come back.
So are there any equivalents in America to South by Southwest right? I mean, not Southwest, Just for Laughs right now? Like, is there a...
Netflix is a joke,
Yo,
is
come from
taking
Bumble
over.
Cloud.
Netflix is a joke.
Yeah.
Okay. So what can you get the same deals? Because I heard at Just for Laughs you could walk in, if somebody likes your set, you could get a TV series or a special, or you know what I'm saying? Like, is it the same type of idea, or?
It's probably better because it's Netflix. They got the money. Just for Laughs is bankrupt. You know? So that alone, yes, it's gonna be better. And it's in LA, it's in Austin. I think they're moving it around in the States. The only reason they used to use Just for Laughs is because it was cheaper. It was Canadian. It was the Canadian dollar.
Right.
There was mad bursaries and grants from the Canadian and Quebec government. They had to meet like a Canadian CanCon quota where like, all right, you need to have this many Canadians on it for you to be eligible for certain things. And people were adhering to those rules. But over time, it stopped being cheaper. COVID made everything way more difficult to now do these American productions in Canada. So they're like, okay, there's no point in doing this no more. And the money's running out. These guys aren't spending it properly. It was an inevitable thing to happen. And the thing was, they were actually trying to expand it across Canada. They did JFL Toronto, JFL West, which was like in Vancouver. Right. But unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way they would hoped. And it wasn't even like one of those things where, for Canadians at least, like once you got it, like that was it, you've made it. It's literally a side quest in GTA. You know what I'm saying? Like this is you having to steal
Whatever it
10
may
Jeeps before you catch that win, that side quest. But it's just another festival. A lot of people used to put all their eggs in that basket, and then when they would perform, they're like, now what? Like I did Kevin Hart's LOL network. I did my first taping there, and I was like, oh, that's it. I'm being recognized by Kevin Hart. This is my chance to go stateside now. And then people see it and they're like, oh, cool. Nice little credit you got there. Like, no one cares. They want to see analytics. They want to see your numbers. They want to see, like JFL used to be a thing that would like help you gain followers or help you in your career.
Yeah.
But now they're like choosing people based on their following. And it's like, okay, am I
Social
helping
media's
you or are you
changed that.
helping me? Like what's happening?
Yeah, that's social media's definitely changed that, you felt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
fair. Well, hold on. I want to ask something. Do you feel
okay.
like, do you know Kevin Hart personally, or is it just like, did you end up meeting him when you were there shooting your stuff?
Yeah, we were just talking on the phone this morning in my mind, and I was like,
In your mind?
one day, Kevin, this will be a real conversation. One day, bro.
Okay, so speaking about numbers, recently in Toronto at one of those Juice comedy shows, Dale Elliott Jr. came out and tried to do a stand-up set. He ended up bombing, and people, literally walked out. Scarborough crowds, like they weren't having it. He was bought. Like third joke, I seen like half of the people, because it's one person leaves, and then it's like a trickle effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, do you think like it's kind of blurring the gap between like stand-up and skit comedy? Do you think it is as easy as people are making it to seem? Because we're noticing there's a lot more stand-up specials coming out with Instagram influencers and so on and so forth, and the content's not that funny, man.
Yeah, it's
you know
trash.
what I mean? Like,
Listen,
so
man.
how do you feel about that?
Comedy, people don't realize how parallel comedy and music are. Okay.
In terms of what?
The lifespan and I guess the way I always used to say rappers are very similar to comedians. We get on a mic, we talk our shit, we get the crowd hype, then we peace out. The only thing that differs is our groupies. Okay, our groupies don't have BBLs and ain't trying to turn up after. They're just like, hey, you want to go grab a coffee, or grab a beer, and tell me some more jokes? You're so funny. Oh my god! But I find we're very similar in the sense that, we tour, we do shows, we do the nightlife.
Right.
Like we're performers that just speak our opinion. The only difference is ours don't rhyme. Mm-hmm. They just make you laugh.
Yeah.
We still drop punchlines.
For sure, you definitely do.
We still need to, it's all about our pen game and our ability to write. Like it's very similar in that sense. And sorry, the point I was getting to was, if you look at the way Napster, LimeWire, free downloading,
Right.
streaming has changed the game of music, naturally it's gonna happen with comedy, right? Like the way that everything is accessible. If you want to try do music, guess what? You could pursue it now. You can make beats on your phone. Everything's so easy and accessible now, right? So if you really want to pursue it, you actually can. So now there's people that are, wait, I could do this. I want to pursue this. So they actually attempt to do it because they see other people doing it and they see how accessible it is. But it's like, you're still not doing the work that it takes to get better. They say it takes a year to get a solid 10 minutes. Okay, 1 year just to get 10 minutes.
Is that how long it took you?
So 10 years.
Yeah, like
it
I've
took me to
heard-
make
I've heard
an
they-
hour and a half of
I've heard
comedy.
they call you the brown mamba based on the work ethic. You know what I'm saying?
shit, well, hey.
you put in hours to this comedy shit, man.
I won't lie. The first 8 years, I was just cruising. I wasn't on the mama mentality where like I'm practicing every day, work. Like there's guys that do 4 or 5 shows a night. They'll just jump from one show to the next show to the next show. And that's the thing with Toronto. Like, we have enough comedy rooms in the city to sharpen your sword. And we could really, really practice and get well at our craft and get good at our craft. So when we go to the States, people are like, yo, where the hell did you come from? You know, because, you know, there's not as many opportunities to do shows when you're in LA because there's a long waiting line. You almost have to pay to play. Like, if you want to get on the show, drop $5, 5 minutes.
Wow.
Right? So it's like, shit. We're so lucky in Toronto that we have at least 10 shows a night that you can get on and fill your whole calendar and not have to, like, we also live in a city, in a country where you could be an artist and not have to do the craziest things to pursue your art. You could do your art comfortably. And people sleep on that fact. Like, there's rappers, there's artists, there's painters, there's musicians that can still have a 9-to-5 job and still pursue their shit. Fine, they won't blow up and make an honest living off of it like you can in the States, but you could at least get really good at it here.
No, for sure.
So when you go elsewhere where the money opportunities are,
There,
you could
you're ready to
blow
go.
them out the water, right?
Sure.
So saying that now, we see that you're putting on a lot more shows for people. You're getting more on the, you know, the business side of things.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself being more of someone who's orchestrating these shows, or do you want to stick to more of the stand-up side of things?
You know, I always thought about, you know, myself as a Keenan Ivory Wayans type of dude where I have the resources, I have the ability, and I have the gumption to galvanize and round up all the best comics in the city and put together an in living color type cast of like just heavy hitters. But then there's the selfish side of me that's like, yeah, but do you really want to like manage all these egos and people? Like that's a heavy task. And just because you can do it doesn't necessarily mean you should do it. And this was my year to like pull away from trying to build the scene and just build myself up as like a solo artist.
Big up your next. Big up your next.
Yeah.
Project.
What's your next thing?
Project.
Yo, once again, we spoke about music and the amount of people that are like, yo, Norm, we know you from behind the scenes, from doing.
Hold on, you're dropping an album?
Is that what to say?
I
Dropping
mean,
a mixtape?
I'm not dropping an album, but am I?
That's what I'm saying. But like, what are you doing? Like,
But am I? Well, I mean,
This guy went through the glasses.
we'll see about that. To be honest with you, I'm trying to put it out there into the universe and hold myself accountable to a music project.
Okay.
Some call me, you know, some have referred to me as the Filipino Jamie Foxx.
Filipino Jamie
So,
Foxx.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Jamie Foxx.
You can
What?
sing, act, dance.
I've
Yes,
never
yeah.
heard any shit like that in my life.
I just jumped into musical theater last year.
Say word. That's great.
And you know, I played this meth dealing drug dealer in a Filipino jail, and I was like, oh, look at that. Art imitates life. You know what I'm saying? I put
Alright, so to
meth
rap-
head and meth head acting. You know what I'm saying?
to rap.
Hold on.
What-
I want to ask him one more. You know, you talked about your influences growing up. Like, what were your top 5 favorite comedians growing up?
Top five. Dylan. It would have to be Dave Chappelle. I throw in Jamie Foxx in there because of the singing and acting aspect. Russell Peters because he's a Toronto man and I do a lot of cultural impressions. I throw in George Carlin because he was just so smart. And he always taught you a lesson. You left, after listening to his set, you left feeling a bit more smarter or your level of awareness was increased. And I would say that last 5th slot can jump between Patrice O'Neal and, you know, one of the 3 short guys. Cat Williams, Eddie Griffin, and Kevin Hart. I like, you know.
You link Kevin, just link him and tell him that, I put you in my top 5.
Yeah,
link him in your mind and tell him to put you in your top 5.
Top
Cat,
5.
don't know.
to rap. You're sitting at a dinner table, top 5 dead or alive. Who would you want at that table?
And we're talking rappers or
No,
just
no,
anything?
just people in general.
Ooh, top 5.
Just at
Dead
a dinner
or
table, one dinner.
alive. Jesus.
Okay, man, no, man trying to repent.
Black Jesus though. Black Jesus.
Okay, man trying to super repent.
Black Jesus. Nah, no fake ass.
Could be
Book of
personal
Mormon
too,
white
you know? You don't
Jesus.
have to, you know?
No, I just
said he
want
wants
to
to sing Jesus.
I want to
No,
say
you're
what
the-
up
the man
to
that's talking
Jesus
theology.
one time.
You think he'd be coming at you like, nah?
Yo, why'd you not like? Why'd you not take it
You're lucky I
serious?
forgave you a couple times.
Suppose
too.
God locks you in the back of your head. Like,
No, I've
you
been
know?
like, yo, so Mary though? Well, what about Mary Magdalene? Don't tell me nothing. Come on, just spill the tea, Jesus. It's me, bro. No one knows. It's you, me, and God, bro. Only God can judge you. So Jesus would be one.
Right.
Nas, like I grew up wanting to be Nas my whole life. Like there, even I used to try and sound like, but yo, what up? This is know who this. Yeah, what up, son? I would talk with that. Yeah, what's up? You know, so Nas, I sold weed to him once upon a time, but we never really got to kick it. So like,
Hold on, you have to tell that story. You can't just say that.
Nah, we gotta
that's another show.
That's another show.
You know, all the people I sold weed to. I would say so. We got Jesus.
Nas.
We got Nas.
Right.
I'm gonna throw Silk Sonic in there. Okay. Silk Sonic, because I love Anderson .Paak and Bruno Mars. They're just
This
amazing
went from Jesus
musicians.
to cocaine stories.
Right?
Like,
Yeah.
real quick, like, you know, like, this is why Jesus has to be there to keep everything PG, you know?
But yeah, those two are like musicians that
Okay, you got one
I would
more.
like to mimic.
You got one more.
One last one would have to be I want to say a gal, but then who knows if things will happen if I saw her? So that's a waste. I would have to say somebody that I truly respect. I don't know, somebody that's really rich and generous, so that like when I do see them,
Like
they'll
a Jeff
probably
Bezos type thing.
His
not
wife.
even,
Jeff Bezos'
Jeff
wife.
Bezos' wife.
Yeah, she's out here. She's giving
Jeff
dollars.
Bezos' wife.
She's
Hello.
giving dollars. She's been giving bands out.
Hello. Yes, Jeff
been giving
Bezos'
a bands
wife
out.
for sure.
She's been
Just
giving out bands,
because
so-
that's exactly like I wanted it to be a woman and someone that has a lot of money that is willing to give me something.
So you're looking to be a sugar baby.
Jeff Bezos. What? I have a.
What?
Come on, man. I will climb up them sugar walls, baby.
All right, so
For all that
big up your next comedy show coming up. What's the next comedy show you got
I
coming
got 2 shows coming up. I got Knuckles and Chuckles. It's a comedy show in Scarborough. For all you motherfuckers in Scarborough, they're like, yo, Norm, do a show on the East End, dog. I'm doing a show on the East End, and you guys aren't supporting. What the hell's wrong with you? You'll come to the ones in downtown, but not when you say come to Scarborough, I come to Scarborough, not buying tickets. Come on, Scarborough, stop being whack. Buy tickets. And another one next week called Jokes and Jodeci. Where I got a live band backing all the comics, telling their stories over music. And if they want to break out into song, feel free. But that's more so for me to break out into song.
You're ready to sing. You're ready
So
to
I'm
sing.
ready to
Bring out the track.
shine.
All right,
And
yo.
yeah, and then look out for the comedy album this year, and look out for the music project this year, and a huge tour coming
Working.
up very soon.
All right, yo.
All right, big up Norm.
Balaclava Diaries. Thank you very much, Big Norm.
Respect for having me.
Yo, and honestly, come on anytime, bro. Anytime you have something for promote and all of them things, you're welcome. We love you, yo. Giving you your flowers.
Thank you. Blessings
That's a
and
wrap.
salad dressings. Hey.